Hey everyone, this video is to talk about slope-intercept form, which is a way that we write the equation of a line. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus c. We want to go through and talk about what each of the letters mean first. So x and y would be any point on the graph. M is the slope. Slope is talking about how steep a line is. We call it the rise over the run or the change in y over the change in x. The way that I think about this is we also move rise over run. If you are lying on the ground, you have to rise before you start running. You have to get up before you're able to move. And then B stands for the y-intercept. And that's where the function crosses the y-axis. So key things that we have, M is slope, B is the y-intercept. I have a lot of people that will say something along the lines of, if I have this equation, y equals 2x plus 6, they'll say that the slope is 2x. That's not true. The slope is only the 2. It's the number in front of the x. So we have 4 types of slope. The first being a positive slope. Positive slopes go up and to the right or down and to the left. So up and right or down and left. This makes sense because up and right are both positive directions. So you have positive over a positive equals a positive. Down and left are both negative directions. A negative over a negative equals a positive. A negative slope moves down and right, which is a negative over a positive or a negative number, or it moves up and left, which is a positive over a negative, or once again, a negative. We also have a zero slope. Any horizontal line has a slope of 0. This means that you are not rising, but you are constantly running. So you're moving left and right. So 0 divided by infinity is 0. And every single one of these lines is going to be of the form y equals. And lastly, we have an undefined slope, which is characterized by a vertical line. This means you are constantly rising. You're going up and down, but you're not moving left and right. You can't divide by 0, so we label this UND for undefined. And each of these lines is of the form x equals. So, first example, we're going to graph what we can and fill in the line. So, if I want to graph the equation y equals 5, I go up to 5 on my y-axis, and I draw a horizontal line across. Horizontal lines have a slope of 0. Your y-intercept is where it's crossing the y-axis, so that's at 5. For the second one, makes a little bit more sense. We have a slope of -3. We have a y-intercept of 2. Now, remember, slope is the rise over the run. So this -3 is really a -3 over 1, or 3 over -1. It doesn't matter where you put the negative. It just matters that it's with one of the numbers. So how I graph this is I'm going to start at my y-intercept. So I'm going to start at 2. And from there, I'm either going to count down 3 from that point. So 1, 2, 3, right 1. Or I can count up 3 from that point and left 1. And basically you want to keep going from each point until you've filled the graph. So from my point 1, negative 1, once again I can count down 3, right 1 and plot a point, down 3, right 1 and plot a point. Last thing you want to do, connect the dots, extend off the graph, and draw your arrows. Because it's a line, it continues forever. For our third example, this time we have a slope of 1/2 and a y-intercept of negative 3. Now remember, this 1/2 is a positive number. I can also think of it as negative 1 over negative 2 because that would also give me a positive 1/2. So now I'm starting down at negative 3 because that's my y-intercept. And from there I'm counting, I rise 1 and I run 2. I rise 1, run 2, rise 1, and 1, 2. Now, you moved up and to the right. We can also move down and to the left. So I can go down 1, left 2, down 1, left 2, down 1, left 2, just like we did before. Connect the points and extend with the arrows off the graph. Our last example, x equals negative 4. This time we go over to negative 4 on the x-axis. And we plot a vertical line that goes through it because any point on this line will have an x value of negative 4. I'm constantly rising. I'm not running. That's a slope of undefined. Here, your y-intercept, you're not crossing the y-axis, so you actually don't have one.